All right, good morning, everyone. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Your Honor, good morning.
This is the State All-Purpose Calendar in the State Court of Fulton County. I am Judge Melanie Williams. Today is April the 21st of 2022. All defendants on the screen, I want to advise you, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say regarding the facts of your case can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney at these proceedings. To all participants, I wanted to let you know that this proceeding is being live streamed over the internet. It is also being recorded. That means that any member of the public can log on and watch this particular proceeding. Today, we're going to handle several calendars. We're going to take pleas, arraign cases, and handle other matters as necessary and required. I was just informed that Attorney Goodwin is on the line and is requesting to go first on the non-jail plea calendar position 2. Attorney Goodwin, are you present on the screen?
Good morning, Your Honor. Justin Goodman here for Mr. Kreck, who's also on the platform.
Oh, Kreck, I apologize. I do not see Mr. Kreck. Is Mr. Kreck current? Oh, there you are, Mr. Kreck. I see you now. Are we ready to go forward with this plea today, Mr. Goodman?
We are. Mr. Kreck, could you please unmute yourself?
All right, and whose case is this for the state?
Good morning, Your Honor. Jamila Whiteman on behalf of the state.
Oh, it's good to see you, Ms. Whiteman. It's been
Good to
quite
see
some
you too.
time since I've seen you. All right, I really like your hair, by the way. All right, will you please put this, before I begin, let me, please pronounce your name again, sir? It's Craig? Is it Craig?
Creaky.
Creaky. Mr. Creaky, your case is 22 CR 002234A. You're charged with reckless driving with the offense date of January the 23rd of 2021. I've advised you of your constitutional rights. Do you understand them?
Yes, Your Honor.
And can your attorney assist you by video? And can I conduct this hearing by video today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Ms. Whiteman, will you please put the state's recommendation onto the record?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation is 12 months probation, a $1,000 fine, 100 hours of community service, a risk reduction course, and any treatment recommended. Your Honor, for some background, the defendant prior to entering this plea today has already completed a MAD victim impact panel, 10 hours of community service, as well as had the required evaluation.
Thank you. Mr. Goodman, was that your understanding of the plea that your client would be taking today?
It is, Your Honor. Thank you. And that evaluation rather did not recommend any additional treatment other than completing the risk reduction course. So he should be all set in that regard.
All right. And do you stipulate to the factual basis, identity, and venue in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Creaky, I'm going to ask you some questions to make sure that you're voluntarily taking this plea today. All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at this time that would affect your ability to make this decision?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with Mr. Goodman's representation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has anyone forced or coerced you into taking this plea today?
No, Your Honor.
And do you understand by taking this plea that you're waiving your right to go to court later and challenge this particular charge against you and to have the state prove this against you beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you understand those rights and are so prepared to waive them?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you understand the requirements of the sentence as just explained by the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
As to the charge of reckless driving, how do you plead?
Guilty, Your Honor.
I accept your guilty plea. The sentence has already been entered into the record by the state. I believe that will conclude this case unless there's any outstanding matters from either the state or defense.
Not from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing from the defense, Judge. Your Honor, will my client meet with probation intake on the platform today, or will they contact him?
I'm not sure. Is anybody from probation on the line that could answer that question? I think you'll just need to reach out to them at some point.
Judge, I'm gonna send Mr. Creaky a message with my email, and then if he can respond with his email, I'll send him the probation paperwork to fill out, and he can just return it back to me, and I'll give it to probation, and then someone will contact him about his reporting.
Did you hear that, Mr. Creaky? Please respond to the email that you received from Fulton State Court, all right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Goodman, I don't think there's anything further. You can be excused.
Thank you,
Thank
Judge. I'm putting Mr. Creaky's email address. I'm assuming that, I don't know if that was Mr. Jordan who was just.
Yes,
speaking.
it was. It was.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
I just put his email address in the chat for you,
Okay, thank you.
just to make that a little easier.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day, Your Honor. And Eli, I'll give you a call.
Okay.
And Your Honor,
Alright.
may I be excused until 11 o'clock when the non-plea calendar is called? or
Of
excuse me, the
course.
non-jail calendar.
Of course, Ms. Wyman. Yes, you may. Take care.
Thank you.
All right. We'll go back to the rest of the judge.
Excuse me. We were trying to do the competency eval calendar next, please.
Are we prepared to go? I don't have any objection to that. The jail is requesting that as the public defender's office prepared to go forward, as well as the state. Mr. Walker, you're smiling. Does
Yeah,
that
no problem.
indicate that you're ready to go
The
forward?
state is always ready and we will improvise. So
All right.
Howard is on the phone, but I spoke with him earlier this morning, Judge. I'm sorry, I do apologize. But if you can do South Annex person, and then we can come to courtroom too, but we have to start with the competency eval calendar this morning. Thank
That's just fine. It's like running a bus station. We'll make it work.
you.
All right. Who do I have at the South Annex?
Position 14. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Good to see you. All right. We have position 14 on the state all-purpose calendar, correct? All right. All right. Good morning, ma'am. Are you Bertha Williams?
Yes, I am Bertha Williams.
Okay, Ms. Williams, you were on, I saw that you were on the screen when I read your rights. Do you understand the rights that I read to you previously?
I understand my rights.
All right. And can I conduct this hearing by video today?
Yeah, this is video today.
Okay, can you, Mr. Finley, do you represent Ms. Williams or is it you, Mr. Howard?
This is gonna be me, Judge.
Oh, good to see you, Mr. Howard. Your attorney, Mr. Derek Howard, is present on this screen to assist you. Is that okay? Can he assist you?
Yes,
by
that's okay.
video? All right, thank you. I have the announcement that this is going to be a plea. Is the plea negotiated?
It is a negotiated plea, Judge.
All right, thank you. Oh, Ms. Sowery, is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning.
Oh, Ms. Sowery, good morning. Good to see you. What is the state's recommendation for the plea?
Your Honor, the state and the defense have negotiated a plea of 12 months to serve 32 days. Credit for time served 16 days, the balance suspended, and to stay away from GSU, that's Georgia State University at 44 Cortland Avenue.
Okay, and that was your understanding of the plea, Mr. Howard?
Yes, Judge.
And the defendant would not have to serve any additional time. The 16 days she served will satisfy this. Is that correct? I have to ask, I'm never
Yes.
good at math. All right, so Ms. Williams, you, and before I do that, do you stipulate to the factual basis, identity and venue?
Yes.
Not you, ma'am, Mr. Howard, do you
okay, you
stipulate?
Yes,
Talking
Judge, we
about-
do stipulate to the factual basis and identity and venue.
All right, thank you. Ms. Williams, I need to ask you a few questions, all right? To make
All right.
sure you're taking this plea voluntarily, all right?
Okay,
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at this time?
no,
Are you satisfied with Mr. Howard's representation?
yes,
Did anyone force or coerce you into taking this plea today?
no, no one's supposed to,
And did anyone offer you anything in exchange for taking this plea?
no,
And you understand by taking this plea, you're closing out your case. You will not be able to go to court later and challenge this charge. You understand
Yeah.
that?
I understand,
And you're waiving your right to go to court, correct?
yes,
You understand that the time that you serve essentially closes out your case, but you still cannot go back to Georgia State University at 44 Cortland Avenue. Do you understand that?
I understand that.
All right, as to the charge of criminal trespass, how do you plead?
I plead guilty.
All right, I accept your guilty plea. We've already read your sentence and you've indicated that you understand it. So I believe that will conclude your case unless there's anything further from either the state or the defense.
Okay, so
Nothing further.
so
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing further.
the case dropped?
No, ma'am, you've pleaded guilty to the case. It's not dropped, it's just closed. There's a distinct
That's okay.
difference. You understand that?
Yeah, I understand that, but do that mean I go home or do I go to the case that's pending?
Yeah, you're gonna have
North
to,
Cross.
like the North Cross hold, remember we talked about last night,
Okay.
they're gonna come and get you.
But
Okay.
this case is no longer holding you in the Fulton County
Oh,
Jail, all right?
Okay, I see what you said. This case is not holding me, but I.
Yes, ma'am.
North Cross case.
All right, best of luck to you, Ms. Williams. Have a good day.
Okay, God bless you.
All right. Who do we have next? We're going to the competency calendar now. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge, position number 6, please, Mr. Kelly. Thank you.
Okay.
Judge, we can go to a breakout, Mr. Williams, myself, and the court report.
Yes, please. Mr. Jordan, will you create that breakout for us, please?
So you need the court reporter in the breakout room?
Or I don't, whoever needs, or the clerk, somebody take down what we're talking about. The litigation manager, I guess, will be fine.
Oh, that's loud. I didn't think that was the one. That's not good.
Do anyone else need to be in that breakout room for the competency calendar?
All right, we're back. We'll pick up with the competency calendar. It's courtroom 2 present on the screen. All right, who do we have at courtroom 2?
Judge, I have Mr. Kelly, position number 6, please.
All right, good morning, Mr. Kelly, your case. 21. Can you hear me, Mr. Kelly? Okay, good morning. Your case is 21 CR 0061088, in which you're charged with criminal trespass with an offense date of November the 6th of 2021. Do you understand the constitutional rights that I explained earlier? And can I speak to you by video today? Can I speak to you by video?
Yes, ma'am.
And can your attorney help you by video?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Kelly, are you having difficulty speaking?
Yes,
Okay,
all the best I can.
okay, that's okay. I just want to make sure that you can hear me and that you can participate in this proceeding. You shouldn't have to speak very much. All right, the announcement that I have, Mr. Howard, you're muted if you were saying something.
No, Judge.
Oh, okay. The announcement that I have is this is going to be a plea today. Is that correct?
No, this is Mr. Kelly, Judge. This is the
Oh.
pad release.
Okay. So what's going to happen, Mr. Kelly, is your attorney and the state have agreed to place you in a diversion program. You'll be released next Thursday to this particular program where you will receive particular services. All right? Did your attorney explain that previously to you? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
Okay, so you will be released next Thursday. I'm going to sign the order today. You're going to be placed in a program that's going to assist you. All right?
yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank
Is
you.
there anything further from either the state or defense as it pertains to Mr. Kelly's case? I want to make sure Mr. Kelly understands what's
Yeah, nothing
happening.
further, Judge.
Okay. All right. Best of luck to you, Mr. Kelly. All right. What do we have next?
Mr. Howard, I'm sorry, Judge. One
Yes,
moment. Mr. Howard, can you call in courtroom 2 real fast for me, please?
okay.
Mr. Wilson wants to speak with you. And don't talk.
So, Judge, for position number 6, we reset into next week's 28th calendar.
No, I think he's just going to be released. I'm going to sign the order today.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me mute it. All right. Who do we have at courtroom 2?
Judge, we have position number 9, Mr. Patel, please.
All right, Mr. Patel, your case is 22 CR 00897J, in which you're charged with criminal trespass with the offense date of January the 5th of 2022. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
Yes, sir.
And can I hold this hearing by video today?
Yes, sir.
All right, and can your attorney, Mr. Howard, assist you by video? All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, this is the announcement where we're taking a plea, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Walker, will you please put the state's recommendation onto the record?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation is 12 months to serve, 61 days in confinement, credit for time served of 61 days, balance suspended with the condition of a stay away at the address of 930 Spring Street.
930. What is 930 Spring Street?
I believe it's a apartment complex, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Howard, was that your understanding of the plea?
Yes, Judge.
All right. And do you stipulate to the factual basis in ID?
We do, Judge.
All right. Mr. Patel, I'm going to ask you some questions to make sure I'm satisfied before I take this plea today. All right. Mr. Patel?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm gonna need you to affirmatively answer each of my questions so that I can make sure that you're taking this plea voluntarily, all right? And do you understand the requirements of the sentence? That basically what happens is the time that you served in the jail will close out your case, but you cannot return to 930 Spring Street. You understand that? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. You have to speak very loudly for me.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. And you want to take this plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at this time?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with Mr. Howard's representation of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Did anyone force or coerce you or promise you anything in exchange for taking this plea today?
No, ma'am.
And do you understand that by taking this plea, you're closing your case and you're waiving your right to go to court later?
Yes, ma'am.
And by waiving that right, the state no longer has to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, as to the charge of criminal trespass, how do you plead?
Guilty.
I accept your guilty plea. As I indicated earlier, this should close out your case. You shouldn't have any additional time to serve at the Fulton County Jail, but you must stay away from that address, all right? They don't want to see you back there.
And Your Honor, the name of that facility is University Housing Midtown.
All right, so you must stay away from University Housing Midtown, all right? All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Patel. That will complete your case.
I know, but you need this one. Position number
Ms. Johnson,
12.
can we do someone other than Mr. Wilson? We weren't through. He had some additional
Okay.
questions. Can we do the others?
Okay. Yes, I have position number 13. Mr. Wimby, please.
Okay. All right, good morning. I'm so used to being on in the afternoon. Good morning, Mr. Wimby. Your case is 21 CR 0063568, in which you're charged with criminal trespass with an offense date of November the 12th of 2021. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
Yeah,
You said yes?
constitutional right.
You have the right to remain silent, and you have a right to an attorney. Those are the rights I'm speaking. Do you understand those?
Yeah,
All right. Can I conduct this hearing by video? Which means, can I speak to you by video today?
yeah.
And can your attorney assist you by video?
Yeah,
Your attorney is Mr. Howard. He's waving at you. Can he help you by video? He is not there with you in the Fulton County Jail. Can he talk on the same conference like I'm talking on?
yeah.
Okay, thank you. The announcement that I have is that we're gonna be taking a plea today. Is that correct? It's a non-negotiated plea.
I think
No,
it was
no,
the
Judge.
bond
This is
hearing.
this is the bond.
Oh, my goodness, Lord.
It's okay, Judge.
I'm writing down the wrong thing. This is Mr. Wimby, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
We're holding a bond here. Has Mr. Wimby already been arraigned? I'm assuming so.
No, Judge, because of the status of his case, we can't arrange.
We can't arraign him. Okay, understood. All right, you can tell I'm used to my brain firing up at 2 o'clock, not 9 o'clock. All right, Mr. Wimby, we're gonna have a brief bond hearing to decide whether or not, how we're gonna set your bond and whether or not you'll receive a signature bond today. Mr. Walker, would you like to put the state's recommendation onto the record?
Yes, Your Honor, the state's recommendation is a $1,000 surety bond with the condition of a stay away of the incident location, Cosby Spear Towers, located at 335 North Avenue. I know we already discussed the more intimate or sensitive details of this matter, but Mr. Wimby does have 64 cycles, predominantly all criminal trespass. And the state is very concerned about the citizens at that facility. So we are requesting that a $1,000 surety bond and a stay away condition be put in place as his bond.
That's not your attorney.
All right, Mr. Howard.
Yes, Judge, and we're asking the court to consider a signature bond in this case. Mr. Wimby has limited financial means. He's obviously not able to post a bond, and bond is not intended to be a pretrial sentence, but rather, to assure the other Ayala factors. But we would ask the court to give weight to the fact that he has been in custody 160 days without a determination of guilt or innocence. At this point, I've spoken with him about going to the Gateway program. He indicated a willingness to do that. So we would ask the court to allow him to sign his own bond today so that he can avail himself of that process. So we're asking for a signature bond, Judge.
Okay. All right, at this time, Mr. Wimby, I'm gonna give you $1,000 signature bond such that you can go to the Gateway program, but you must absolutely stay away from the Cosby Memorial Towers. Do you understand that, Mr. Wimby? Mr. Wimby, if you go back to Cosby Memorial Towers, you're coming immediately back to the Fulton County Jail. Do you understand that?
Oh, it was up.
I'm sorry?
And this was up.
I don't want you to say too much. I just want you to indicate whether you understand that you cannot go back to Cosby Memorial Towers. What is that address?
Say it
It
loud.
is 335 North Avenue.
Do you understand you can't go back to 335 North Avenue?
Yeah.
All right, you're gonna, I need you to say, I understand that I cannot go back to that location. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
All right. I believe that that will conclude Mr. Wimby's case. I am gonna give him that $1,000 signature bond at this time. And he must also have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition of this bond.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Howard, I have a question about position 2 and 3. Mr. Brady, Eric Brady.
Oh, yes, he is represented by Ms. Maureen McLeod, conflict attorney. I'm not sure what her desire is or if she's on the call. She may be thinking it's at 11.
Okay, so I'll hold him.
Okay.
Can we go back to position number 12 for Mr. Wilson?
I still haven't spoken with him. I need to speak with him briefly.
Okay.
So I don't know if we want to go to a regular case while I'm talking to him.
Okay, one moment for me, Judge. I have to pull the SAP inmates out into the courtroom, okay? Thank
Mr.
you.
Jordan, did you need me?
Miss McLeod was on vacation this week, but I'll check with her and see if she was planning on appearing on this calendar.
Oh,
We
okay.
may need to reset that case to next week, but I'll check to see if she answered her phone real quick.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jordan. It sounds like we'll be resetting that case. I promise to get these announcements. Are there any other announcements I can have that are not on this sheet? I think we have them all. Number 1, 2. Okay, so we're not going to do the add-on calendar.
Judge, we can go to position number 11, Mr. Taylor, please, on the SAP calendar. Thank you.
All right. All right, position 11, are you Adrian Taylor? Are you Adrian Taylor?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, I'd rather do that.
All right, Mr. Taylor, your case is 22 CR 0021114C, and once you're charged with battery family violence with an offense date of March the 25th of 2022. Do you understand your constitutional rights? I'm not sure that you all heard them. You have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say regarding the facts of your case can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney at this proceeding, and your attorneys will be appearing by video today. Mr. Taylor, can I hold this hearing by video? You're saying something, but you're muted. Yes?
One moment. Okay, I understand my rights.
All right, and I'm holding this hearing by video. Can I speak with you by video today?
Yes, ma'am.
And can your attorney assist you by video? Who represents Mr. Taylor? It's not Mr. Howard, is it? Because he's on another call. It's Mr. Howard. Is there a position we can go?
I can do, is this Mr. Adrian Taylor?
You can do both at once, don't you?
Well, I'm finished with that call, Judge. I can
Okay.
handle Mr. Taylor.
All right. You got your Superman cape on, Mr. Howard. All right. And can your attorney assist you by video today?
Yes.
All right. Now let's get this announcement right. This is a plea, correct?
Yes.
That is correct, Judge. This is a negotiated plea.
It's a negotiated plea. Mrs. Segura, it's good to see you. Good morning. Will you please put the state's recommendation onto the record?
The state is recommending 12 months to serve 30 days, credit for time served 15 days, balance probated, FVIP, 60 hours community service, a stairway from 759 Willow Creek Drive, Sandy Springs, and no further contact with Lavery Murphy. Lavery spelled L-A-V-O-R-I-E. Murphy spelled M-U-R-P-H-Y. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Howard. Was that your understanding of the plea recommendation that's
That
being
is-
offered to your client?
Yes, Judge, and we stipulate venue ID and a factual basis.
All right, Mr. Taylor, I'm going to ask you some questions to make sure that you are willingly taking the plea today, all right?
Yes,
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol that would interfere with your ability to understand this proceeding?
no, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with Mr. Howard's representation?
Yes,
Has anyone forced or coerced you into taking this plea today?
no,
Has anyone promised you anything?
no,
And you understand you're giving up your right to go to court later by
yes,
taking this plea today? And that this essentially will close out your case. You will not be able to present any evidence in your favor. You understand that?
yes,
And you understand the requirements of the sentence. Although you should not have any additional time to serve at the Fulton County Jail, you'll serve the balance of your sentence on probation. You're going to have to complete a family violence intervention course. You're going to have to complete 60 hours of community service. You must have no further contact with Lavoy Murphy, and you must absolutely stay away from 759 Willow Creek Drive. Do you understand those terms?
yes.
As to the charge of battery and violence, how do you plead?
I'm guilty.
I accept your guilty plea. I believe that will conclude your case unless there's anything further from either the state or the defense.
I just have one question.
Ask me a very limited question. The best person to ask your question is your attorney. What's your question, Mr. Taylor?
Will I still be allowed an escort to get my property?
Yes, I will have, I'll enter into the order that you can return one time with a member of law enforcement to get your items.
Thank you.
All right.
Position number 2 is next, Judge. Mr. Brewer, please.
Position 2. Okay. Are we going back to the competency calendar, Mr. Wilson, or no?
I was waiting on Mr. Howard to let
We
me
can,
know.
Judge.
Okay,
We
so
can.
after Brewer, we can go back, Mr. Howard, okay?
Okay, thank you. All right, good morning, Mr. Brewer.
How you doing?
Your case is 18 CR 003355A, in which you're charged with simple battery with an offense date of March the 10th of 2018. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I conduct this hearing by video today?
Yes, ma'am.
And can your attorney, Mr. Zach Finley, help you by video?
Yes.
Good to see you, Mr. Finley. Is the announcement that this is a negotiated plea as well?
Good morning, Judge. Good to see you. And yes, that is correct, Judge. This is a negotiated plea.
All right, Ms. Harmon, is this your case?
Yes, Judge. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you. What is the state's recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, the state is recommending 12 months to serve, 30 days, credit for time served, balance probated, a 6-week anger management course, stay away from the victim in the case, Ronald Raleigh, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Okay, now how much additional time would he have to serve in the Fulton County Jail? He's getting credit for all the time that he served, or I have credit for 6 days?
Credit for 6 days.
So if it's credit for 6 days, how much additional time will he have to serve?
Is that-
Ms. Finley, was it your
Yeah.
understanding that he was going to have additional time to serve, or you thought it was
Yeah.
credit?
So it was credit for time served, 6 days. After the 2-for-1, it looks like it'd be 15 days, so 9 additional days.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Finley, was that your understanding of the plea as recommended?
That was our understanding, Judge. And we were just going to ask that once Mr. Brewer does complete that 6-week anger management, if his probation could become not reporting. And additionally, Judge, finances are an issue in Mr. Brewer's life, so also asking that the probation fees could be waived.
All right, I will waive, it's a 6-week course. I will waive 3 months of fees to give him time to complete that course. And after he completes it, it can go non-reporting. All right. Mr. Brewer, you've heard the requirements of the sentence. Basically, you will have 9 additional days to serve at the Fulton County Jail. You will have to take a 6-week anger management course, and you have to stay away from Ronald Raleigh. Do you understand those requirements?
Yes, ma'am.
And you want to take this plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to ask you some questions, as you just heard me do, to make sure that you're voluntarily taking this plea. Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at this time?
No.
Are you satisfied with Mr. Finley's representation?
Yes, ma'am.
Did anyone force or coerce you into taking this plea today?
No.
And did anyone promise you anything?
No.
And do you understand that by taking this plea, you're giving up your right to go to court and present any evidence you may have had?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're prepared to waive your right to go to court?
Ma'am.
And you understand the sentence requirements as I just explained them to you?
Yes.
As to the charge of simple battery, how do you plead?
Please, yes.
All right, I accept your guilty plea at this time. Unless there's anything further from the state of defense, that will conclude Mr. Brewer's case. All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Brewer.
All right.
Mr. Brewer. First one. We can go back to position number 12, Mr.
Are we going to position, we're going to the competency calendar, Mr. Wilson, correct?
Yes, Judge.
That's correct, Judge.
All right. All right, good morning, Mr. Wilson. Your case is 22 CR 001127B, in which you're charged with simple battery family violence with the offense date of February the 27th of 2022. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I hold this hearing by video?
Yes, ma'am.
And can your attorney, Mr. Howard, assist you by video?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm not gonna guess as to the announcement since I've been wrong so many times. Mr. Howard, what is the announcement for this position?
It's changed anyway, Judge.
It is updated, right? It's going to be a bond hearing, Judge.
Oh, okay, good. See, I was right to not guess. All right. Mr. Walker, will you please give me the state's position regarding Mr. Wilson's
Yes,
bond?
Your Honor. Mr. Wilson currently has a $3,500 surety bond. We're going to ask that the bond remain intact. I reviewed his history. All of his history is out of the state of Florida. He has, I believe, 31 cycles. He does have a past with domestic violence. Most recently, I see a conviction for a battery on February of last year. In this case, the victim's name is Sybil Wilson, albeit his mother. The state does have concerns with lack of ties to the community. Again, he has 31 cycles all out of the state of Florida, with the most recent conviction being just last year. And I believe he's been in Fulton County for quite some time. So all of his ties and connections would be with the state of Florida, Your Honor. So we will ask that the bond remain as said.
Ms. Harrison, do you concur with that criminal history?
Good morning, Judge. Yes.
Good to see you, Ms. Harrison. Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Howard.
Yes, Judge. Mr. Wilson is 36 years old, and he actually has been here in Georgia for 3 years. He does have ties to Florida, and ultimately, Judge, he does want to return to Florida so that he can be more actively engaged with his 3 minor children, which he deeply cares for. He travels now to see them, but he would like to be more of a day-to-day presence in their lives. So we anticipate, Judge, that at some point he's going to, he's already began to make arrangements to be there more consistently. But Judge, he's been working for People Ready while he's been here for the past 6 months, where they assigned him to several different jobs. His mother obviously lives here. He has a sister that lives here in the metro Atlanta area as well. So he does have ties to the Atlanta area. And Judge, we would ask the court to allow him to sign his own bond in this case. Obviously, money has been an issue. He has not been able to post a $3,500 bond. So there's been a determination that he can be released. The only thing keeping that from happening is not his criminal history, it's money, which he doesn't have a whole lot of. So we'd ask the court to convert this to a signature bond so that he can continue to work, so that he can be an active father in the lives of his children. And we'll be able to address the merits of the case at a later time. I understand the state has not talked with his mother, so we understand there may have to be a no further contact order at this point. But we would ask the court to consider a signature bond.
All right,
Judge,
Mr. Walker, I'm sorry, go ahead, Ms.
one
Harrison.
additional thing, he does have an open case in Judge Barrick's courtroom. It's 22 SC 1818880, terroristic threats.
Okay, and what, do you know what the
Right, he's not on that.
victim is in that case, Ms. Harrison? Or
I
Mr.
don't,
Walker?
Judge.
Okay, Mr. Walker, very briefly, can you give me just some basic idea of the facts alleged by the state in this case? Very quickly.
Yes, Your Honor. Give me 1 second.
Ms. Howard, I understand what, if he is released on a signature bond, it's your client's intent to return immediately to the state of Florida?
Not immediately, Judge. He would have to set some things up, but fairly, he would like to be able to migrate there pretty soon. But his sister lives here. He's obviously been here for a significant amount of time, but yes, he'd like to go back to Florida and establish residence there so he can be closer to his children.
All right.
Your Honor, just briefly, his mother had confronted him about his use of drugs in her home. At the time, the defendant became very angry, irate, and grabbed and pushed her onto the living room sofa. And one last thing I wanted to address, I know counsel has stated that the defendant has lived in Georgia for 3 years, but that's just, it's very hard to find because, again, he has 31 cycles in Florida, and his last arrest in Florida was in June of last year. So it seems as though as soon as he got to Fulton County, he was arrested here locally. So I don't know how he's resided here the last 3 years, and he's been arrested every 6 or so months out of the state of Florida, going back for the last 10 years.
All right.
And Judge, I can speak to that if I might briefly. As I indicated, he travels to Florida. He has family there. He has children there that he travels to be with. So he is back and forth, but a person can reside in one state and travel to others. As it relates to the alleged facts, Judge, I will tell you the reason we were asking for a no, when that it might be when we were considering a plea of no contest is because Mr. Wilson provided me with a much different version of events. He tells me that in fact his mother tased him several times before there was any type of physical contact whatsoever because there have been family issues. His parents have been married for 30 years, recently divorced. The mother does not like the fact that he maintains a relationship with the father, and that has caused some contention between them. And so when he was at her home, she got upset and then ultimately tased him a few times before the alleged incident even took place. Just so we're asking the court to just understand that the merits of the case can be addressed at a later time, and both parties can be heard.
So there's no chance that this case could be resolved today. There was your client was unwilling to take a plea at this time.
Right, Judge, at this point, right, it's not viable for him to resolve it today. So at this point, we are asking the court to only consider the bond. And well, Mr. Wilson, I mean, I believe.
I don't want Mr. Wilson to say something. It seems like he had some concerns. Mr. Howard, do you know what those concerns? Mr. Wilson,
yes,
very limited.
I can speak to the concern, Judge. He would prefer to resolve it today. However, the probation requirement is an issue for him. He does not want to have, I guess, this hanging over his head, so to speak, once he is released. If the court were inclined to not have a probationary requirement, the states, I know, is recommending mental health evaluation and treatment and be on probation the remainder of the 10 months. That is really the sticking point at this point.
Right.
So
I would be inclined to accept the state's recommendation and have him be on probation. So, all right, we'll continue with the bond hearing. I was hoping that we could resolve his case today.
If I could just briefly respond.
Very briefly, Mr. Walker.
I reviewed the report. There was nothing in it that his mother tased him, but if that is true and he was tased by his mother, he's a problem, and I'll leave it at that.
Well, that's quite an interesting statement. I appreciate your conclusion there, Mr. Walker. All right, what's going to happen is he's still going to have a surety bond, but I will reduce the surety bond to an $1,800 surety bond. He is to have no further contact with Sybil Wilson. He is to have no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. The state was not requesting a stay away, is my understanding. Is that correct?
We will be requesting a stay away, Your Honor. That address is 85 Mount Zion Road.
Is that in Hateville or Atlanta?
Atlanta.
Okay, so yeah, he must also stay away from 85 Mount Zion Road, have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Okay.
All right, so I've reduced his signature bond, his surety bond. And I believe he'll just be reset to division judge at this point. I don't think that he'll be reset to any SAP calendar at this juncture. All right, anything further from either the state or defense?
No, ma'am.
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
Position number 11, Mr. Hendrick, please. On the state all-purpose calendar, I'm sorry.
Yes, that's fine. Oh, wait, on state all purpose, position 11 is.
No, I'm
Felony.
sorry. I gave you the wrong number. I'm sorry. Sorry about that, Mr. Hendrick. He position number 5, please.
Okay, we have so many. All right. State all purpose. State all purpose says Tiffany Hendricks. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Your case is 22 CR 002119F, in which you're charged with criminal trespass within an offense date of April the 8th of 2022. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
Say it
Do
again.
you understand your constitutional rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And can I conduct this hearing by video?
Yes, ma'am.
And can your attorney, Mr. Zach Finling, assist you by video?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Mr. Finling, what is the announcement today?
Yes, Your Honor. This is going to be a negotiated plea.
All right, Mr. Walker, is this your case?
Yes, Your Honor, it is. The state's recommendation is 12 months to serve, 28 days, credit for time served of 14 days, balance suspended with the condition of a stay away. That location is 915 West Peachtree Street.
Okay, and is that an apartment as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I thought so. Mr. Finling, was that the state's understanding? The defense's understanding of the plea?
Yes, Your Honor. That is our understanding of the plea, of which we do agree and additionally stipulate to the factual basis, ID, and venue.
All right, so you understand the requirements of the sentence? Essentially, the time that you've served in the Fulton County Jail will close your case, but you still must stay away from that incident location on West Peachtree Street. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And you still like to take a plea today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at this time?
No.
Are you satisfied with your attorney's representation?
Yes.
Has anyone forced or coerced you into taking this plea today?
No.
Did anyone promise you anything in exchange for taking this plea?
No.
And do you understand by taking a plea that you're waiving your right to go to court later?
Yes.
And you're prepared to waive the right to present any evidence you may have had in your favor? Yes, you're prepared to waive those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And you understand just what I explained, that you cannot go back to 915 West Peachtree. However, you should not have to serve any additional time at the Fulton County Jail for this particular case. You understand that?
Yeah.
All right, as to the charge of criminal trespass, how do you plead?
Guilty.
I accept your guilty plea, and I believe that will conclude your case unless the state or the defense has any outstanding matters to resolve.
No, Your Honor.
Nothing further, Judge. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, best of luck to you. Have a good day. All right,
Number 6, please. Lucas.
all right. All right, good morning. Your case is 19 CR 003251A. I am Judge Melanie Williams, and in this case, you're charged with making terroristic threats, a misdemeanor, with the offense date of May the 4th of 2017. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
Yes, I do.
Can I hold this hearing by video?
Yes, you may.
And can your attorney, Mr. Zach Finley, help you by video?
Yes, he may.
All right, thank you. What is the announcement for this case? Mr.
Yes,
Finley.
Your Honor. This isn't a negotiated plea, Judge.
All right, thank you.
This is
Mr.
my
Walker.
case, Your Honor. Yes, ma'am. The
Thank
state's
you.
recommendation to the one count of terroristic threats is 12 months to serve, 22 days, credit for time served of 11 days, balance suspended with the condition of no further contact with the victim, whose name is Darlene Robinson.
Who is Ms. Robinson to the defendant?
Was a previous coworker, Your Honor.
Okay. So no real relationship, no familial relationship.
And he's no longer employed there.
All right, wonderful. Mr. Finley, was that your understanding of the plea?
Yes, Judge, that was our understanding of the plea, of which we do agree and additionally stipulate the factual basis in UNID.
Thank you so much. Mr. Lucas, as you've seen me do before, I'm going to ask some questions to make sure that you are voluntarily taking this plea, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand the requirements as just discussed, that you would not have to serve any additional time at the Fulton County Jail, but you can have no contact at all with that coworker, Ms. Robinson, either by Facebook, social media, phone, in no way can you contact Ms. Robinson. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And you would like to take this plea today?
Yes, I do.
All right, are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at this time?
No, I am not.
Are you satisfied with your attorney's representation?
Absolutely, yes.
Has anyone forced or coerced you into taking this plea today?
No,
Has anyone promised you anything?
no.
And you understand by taking this plea that you're waiving your right to go to court and present any evidence you may have had?
Yes,
And you are prepared to give up your court date?
yes, ma'am.
And you understand those requirements that I just explained, that you can have no contact with Ms. Robinson, but otherwise at the time that you serve will close your case. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
As to the charge of terroristic threats, misdemeanor, how do you plead?
Guilty, ma'am.
All right, I accept your guilty plea. That should conclude your case unless there's anything further from Mr. Finley or Mr. Walker.
Thank you, further, Judge. Thank you.
All right, good. Best of luck to you. What do we have next?
Position number 7, Mr. Mitchell, please.
All right, this is position 7. It's my understanding that I'm just arraigning this case today. Is that correct?
That's correct, Judge.
And no bond hearing is necessary?
No bond hearing is necessary, Judge.
All right, thank you. Ms. Grace, will you print me that? Well, let's see if we need that accusation. Let's see. All right, Mr. Mitchell, your case is 21 CR 001585C, in which you're charged with battery, substantial physical harm, with the offense date of March the 26th of 2021. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
Yeah, ma'am.
And can I conduct this hearing by video today?
Yeah, ma'am.
And can your attorney assist you by video?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mrs. Segura, I understand that this is an arraignment, but will you still put the state's plea offer, if there is one, onto the record at this time?
The state offered 12 months to serve.
All right. And I'm assuming, Mr. Finley, that your client is not interested in accepting that at this time.
That's correct, Judge.
All right, so I'm going to formally arraign your case. Mr. Dreshawn Mitchell, you've been formally charged with 1 count of battery, substantial physical harm, which has been formally accused by the Solicitor General of Fulton County. Mr. Finley, do you waive a formal reading of the accusation?
I do.
Thank you. I appreciate that waiver. At this time, your case will be set for trial, and the trial will be scheduled by the state court judge to whom your case is assigned. At this trial, you will have a right to an attorney, as you've had today. You do not have the burden to prove these charges against you at trial. The state, represented by the Solicitor General, will bear that burden and will have to prove the burden beyond a reasonable doubt in order to get a conviction. If they do get a conviction, you can face a sentence of up to 1 year in prison or a fine of $1,000. Based upon this information that I've presented to you today, how do you plead to the charge of battery, substantial physical harm?
Not guilty.
I accept your plea of not guilty, and your case will be so reset to the division judge for further adjudication. All right?
Yeah, ma'am.
That will conclude your case today. Best of luck to you, Mr. Mitchell.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You'll have position number 9, Mr. Peavy. Is that not right, Peavy? Peavy, okay, thank you.
All right, good morning, Mr. Peavy. Your case is 19 CR 004689D, in which you're charged with 1 count of loitering and prowling and 1 count of failure to obey a traffic control device, each with offense dates of May the 23rd of 2019. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
Correct.
And can I conduct this hearing by video today?
Yeah.
And can your attorney, Mr. Derek Howard, assist you by video?
Correct.
Okay, I'm assuming when you're saying correct, you mean yes.
Yes.
Oh, all right. The announcement, Mr. Howard?
Yes, Judge, this is a negotiated plea.
All right, Mrs. Segura, will you put the state's recommendation onto the record?
The state is recommending 12 months to serve 18 days, credit for time served 9 days, balance probated, 60 hours community service, and a stay away for American Deli located at 2457 Martin Luther King Plaza. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Segura, I'm gonna ask, can you very briefly give me the facts of the case just so that I can understand the necessity of a stay away in community service? Very briefly.
More or less, the defendant was loitering around this location. He was, as the police report noted, he was walking within the area to cars and looking into cars about actually buying anything. And he also went into the restaurant and then came out without buying anything and mostly stayed around it.
Okay, all right. So essentially he was just outside of the restaurant. All right. Mr. Howard, is that your understanding of the plea?
Mr. Walker, I was gonna let him speak.
Oh,
Mr. Howard had a last second request that we suspend the community service. I did take a second look at the case and there's no objection to the suspension of the community service.
I'm inclined to suspend as well. I see that Mr. Peavy is waving his hand. Mr.
There's
Peavy?
no objection.
Am I on that cloud?
Miss Peavy.
Mr. Peavy, don't speak. Don't speak. I don't want you to say something the state may end up using against you. I'm inclined to strike that community service and just make it a stay away from the, Mr. Howard, if he's, I know we're not supposed to speak with the defendant, but he indicated he may have some tie to that location. Is that your
To a
understanding?
plaza in the area. So if there's a specific request from the American Deli, which I don't know that is really given what I've read, but that's what the state is asking for. I don't know if Mr. Walker's willing to reconsider that.
Stay away could be specifically for the American Deli.
Okay.
Okay, all right, so not from the entire plaza, just the American Deli. And is, Mr. Walker, is it entirely necessary in the state's opinion that he continue to be on probation?
It could be non-reporting. It could be suspended, Your Honor.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking.
The balance could be suspended.
Okay, I'm not hearing a lot here. So, Mr. Peavy, what's gonna happen is the time that you serve at the Fulton County Jail will close your case. I'm gonna suspend the community service requirement. You can return to that plaza, but you cannot go to the American Deli. You understand that?
Right.
Do you want to take this plea today with those requirements?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Howard, do you stipulate to the factual basis, ID, and venue?
Yes, Judge.
All right, Mr. Peavy, are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at this time?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your attorney's representation?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone forced or coerced you into taking this plea today?
Not at all.
Do you understand that you're giving up your right to go to court by pleading guilty today?
Yes.
And you're giving up the right to have the state prove these charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes.
And you're prepared to waive these rights?
Correct.
And you understand the requirements as I just explained. You cannot go back to that American Deli. You understand that? You will go to a different American Deli if you choose to dine, all right? As to the charges of loitering and prowling and failure to obey a traffic control device, how do you plead?
Guilty.
I accept your guilty plea at this time, Mr. Peavy. Best of luck to you. I believe there's nothing further from either party at this.
That's correct, Judge.
All right, that will conclude your case. All right, who do we have next?
Position number 13, Mr. Wilkerson.
All right. All right, Mr. Wilkerson, your case is 21 CR 0069554F, in which you're charged with theft by shoplifting and possession of a false identification document, each with an offense date of November the 28th of 2021. Do you understand your constitutional rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I conduct this hearing by video?
Yes, ma'am.
And can your attorney assist you by video?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Howard, what is the announcement? Is it still it's a non-negotiated plea? Is that correct?
Right, Judge, unless they're, right, if we can't agree, then it'll be non-negotiated at this point.
All right. Ms. Salary.
Yes, Your Honor, and I apologize for the noise in the background. Um, in this case, officers responded to the incident location of 1105 Research Center in Atlanta. That's the location of a Walmart. They met with the loss prevention, who advised they had video surveillance of the defendant attempting to leave the store with items without purchasing them. The total amount of the merchandise recovered was $250. The defendant also had 2 identifications on his person that were not his. And when the officers ran the defendant's name, he came back wanted out of Chamblee and Cobb for shoplifting. Your Honor, the Chamblee theft by shoplifting resulted in a NOLO conviction, and the Cobb theft by shoplifting, which was 2021, it was back in January of 2021, it resulted in a guilty conviction where the defendant was given 12 months probation and the victim was Macy's. This defendant also failed to appear for this case for a plea and arraignment on March 7th of this year after giving a signature bond through pretrial. He is a multi-state offender. He has history out of Georgia as well as California. And he did have a theft by taking in 2006, and that was not presented. So, Your Honor, this is the 3rd theft by shoplifting. As we are aware, the next is a felony. The state is recommending 12 months to serve 60 days, credit for time served 7 days, the balance probated, a $500 fine, and an anti-theft course, as well as a stay away from the Walmart. Nothing further.
And so, Ms. Sauer, please do that math for me. The state is recommending how many additional days in the Fulton County Jail?
I believe that will be another 53 days, but Mr. Walker, if you could confirm that.
Go ahead, Mr. Howard. If he receives the 2
net,
for 1.
I think the net would be another 14 days, Judge. 16 days. He has been in custody a total of 14 days on this case on 2 different booking numbers. So he'd be looking at another 16 days to get to the 2 for 130.
All right. And Mr. Howard, what is the defense's recommendation?
Judge, Mr. Wilson has been here in Georgia for 27 years. He has, thankfully, a job that he's been on for the entire time with Leather Creations. He does leather furniture and as a material man for them. He tells me that they, will allow him to return to work once he is released. And Judge, he currently lives on Briarcliff Road with his fiance, who he co-parents 2 minor children that live in the household with him, a 70-year-old and a 5-year-old. His income is a significant part of the household being sustained. And he wants to resolve this case today so that he can begin to move forward. He does not have an issue with the requirements. The issue is the additional jail time, which at this point, all it does is make it more likely that he'll have be able to return to his job that's much needed for him to sustain his home. And also he wants to continue to obviously be an active part of his children's lives. Judge, I will note that the property was recovered at the location and he has been in jail 14 days. We would ask the court to consider this being a time served plea today with all the probationary requirements that the state is asking for. He'll be monitored by probation, obviously, and he understands, that any further types of incidents or charges could be problematic. We spoke about that. He's clear on that. So we would ask the court to consider it be time served today.
All right. I'm sorry, Ms. Sauer, you were going to say something?
Yes, Your Honor. Briefly, I was going to say, per the statute, this is his 3rd offense. So there's a mandatory 30 days confinement. If he's only done 14, he does still have to meet 30 days. And then we would also, in lieu of the additional jail time, we would recommend house arrest at the defendant's expense. So he does have to complete 30 days confinement. And then for the additional time that was stated, we would recommend the house arrest.
Okay, so let's get this clear, Ms. Sauer. You're recommending that he please clarify that for me. I'm not sure what you were saying. You wanted to put the house arrest in lieu of the additional time? Is that what you were saying?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
We'll just go with he has to complete the 30-day confinement in total. We'll just go with that.
Well, no, I'm interested in what you were proposing. Explain it to me. You were saying that he could do house arrest as part of that 30 days? That was not what you were saying? No,
I was mentioning the additional time, but I just realized he's getting the 2-for-1, so I'll take that off the record.
Okay.
So Judge, we fine with the 30-day sentence. I mean, that means he will be pretty much released tomorrow. But given this is a non-violent offense, there's no property was recovered at the scene. It just doesn't.
Right. I'm really bad at math, so I just need to make sure. He's only been he's been in the Fulton County Jail for 14 days?
Total, yes.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm sorry for the confusion. If that's the case, then yes, we would still recommend the house arrest, Your Honor.
Okay, so clarify your full recommendation, Ms. Howard. Give it to me again, as if you hadn't given it to me the first time. So you're saying if I let him out of the Fulton County Jail saying that he satisfied the 30 days, you want him to go home and still be on house arrest?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And okay, all right. I'm just making sure I understand. And
Judge,
let's clarify again. I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Howard.
I'm saying for the record, obviously, we would oppose that, Judge. It seems heavy-handed for house arrest for misdemeanor shoplifting charge.
I'm inclined to agree with you, Mr. Howard. I just want to make sure. How many days has he actually, because I'm seeing that he's only been in there for 7 days.
Judge, he's been in 9 days currently, and then he served 5 days on the booking number 2115767 initially. So that's a total of 14 days that he served on this particular case.
So even if he gets credit for all the time, Mr. Howard, you still have to serve at least 1 day.
If the court was inclined to do 30 days, then yes, that would mean another day.
Okay. If Mr. Wilson takes his plea today, I'm going to say it's 12 months to serve 30 days, credit for time served 14 days. He would have to pay a fine of $500. He'd have to take a theft course and stay away from that Walmart. Does your client want to take this plea today?
I believe so. That would just mean 1 more day, Mr. If the judge, with the jail typically doing 2-for-1. So are you in agreement with that?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
We can't guarantee that it's 1 day, but if you do get the credit for that, that would be an additional day. You still want to take this plea, Mr. Wilson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to ask you some questions. Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at this time?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your attorney's representation?
Yes, ma'am.
Did anyone force or coerce you into taking this plea today?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand that by taking this plea, you're giving up your right to go to court later and challenge the evidence against you?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're waiving the right to have the state prove these charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
You're prepared to waive all those rights, and you understand the requirements. In addition to the time that you'd have to serve at the Fulton County Jail, you also have to pay a $500 fine. You are going to be on probation. You'll need to take a theft course, and you must absolutely stay away from that Walmart on Research Center Drive. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And you wish to take this plea today?
Yes.
All right. As to the charges of theft by shoplifting and possession of false identification of documents, how do you plead, Mr. Wilson?
Guilty.
All right, I accept your guilty plea. Please don't say anything. I really don't want you to say something that might interfere with your case. Please call Mr. Howard following this if you have any additional questions, all right?
Yes.
All right, in light of the theft course and the fine, Mr. Howard, are you asking for any waiver of his probation fees?
Yes, Judge, we would ask for probation fees to be waived for a period of time.
I will waive 3 months of fees, but he's gonna have to continue to report.
Okay, that was my next question. All right, thank you, Judge.
All right. All right, anything further, Ms. Sowery or Mr. Howard?
Nothing further, Judge.
Nothing further from the state.
All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you.
All right, who do we have next?
Judge, that's all I have in courtroom two. Position number 10 on the SAP calendar, he was released.
Okay,
So I think that should have been everyone.
and did we cover the full competency calendar? I know we still have the DV calendar. Everyone who's present, it does, I think so, Melissa.
Right, I think all the people we brought.
Yes, everyone who's going to be brought today covered, correct?
Well, I think we still have someone left over there at Union City, but that's all I have in courtroom two.
Oh, South Annex, who do we have?
I was checking to see if there was anybody that I missed.
After Miss Milton, I've got is Ms. Nachteman available? I got an update from the state on her, so we can potentially have a hearing for her.
Okay, give me a few minutes and I'll get her for you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Judge, if we could do a breakout on Ms. Nachteman's case, with Mr. Walker, we can talk about.
All right, that sounds good. While we're waiting, is there any chance that, no, actually, I probably can't do this. I was gonna see if we could take anybody from the 11 o'clock calendar.
The rest should just be 11. Oh, you say 11 o'clock, not necessarily competency. Okay.
No, not competency. I know that the rest will be, I know the announcement for the competency is mostly resets for that. But from the 11 o'clock calendar, the non-jail plea calendar, many of these participants are probably not on the screen. But I was hoping while we were waiting for South Annex, I'm gonna sound for, let's just see, David Moultrie. Who represents Mr. Moultrie? Or, and it's probably not reasonable to ask that they be here already, but we're just hoping. Gabriel Mendez. Oh, Mr. Howard, Mr. Jordan's gonna tell me something.
No, I was gonna say I can contact Ms. Wyman and have her reach out to them and see if they can come on earlier.
If they can, it would be great to just flow right into the 11 o'clock, but I understand if they have conflicts, we'll work around those.
Okay, and
Thank you.
Judge, also, can I ask Mr. Howard, what was the announcement for Bonnie Connolly? She's on the competency calendar. I think someone logged on for that case.
Position 4 on the competency.
That was going to be. Oh, yes, that's going to be 5-5. She has an interview with a provider actually scheduled today. Maybe that, I don't know if this person's on for that, but to conduct the interview, but she has an interview with Pat today.
She did have the interview.
She did
with
have
Ms.
it.
Tasha, yes.
Okay, all right. So yeah, we're gonna need
that case will be reset till May.
May 5th, so that we can get that firmed up.
Okay, and you say you needed a breakout room, Judge?
Yes, please, for I think it's just me, Mr. Howard, Mr. Walker.
Yes.
Is Ms. Nectarman present at the South Annex, or we're still waiting for her to be brought? It looks like we're still waiting.
Judge, Mr. Stokes logged on the DV case. If you want to do that case.
All right. I hope I can remember. Mr. Walker and Mr. Howard will have to refresh me for Ms. Nectarman. I'm sure that'll be gone by the time we do that. We'll go to Mr. Stokes for the DV reset case that I believe is set at 11. Mr. Stokes?
Yes, ma'am.
President, please turn your camera back on so we can identify you. Mr. Finley, you represent Mr. Stokes.
That's correct, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Stokes, your case is 21 CR 006148B, in which you're charged with battery, family violence, cruelty to children in the third degree, 2 counts, and criminal trespass with an offense date of March 26th of 2021. You have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say regarding the facts of the case can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and Mr. Finley is present here to assist you today. Can I conduct this hearing by video today?
Yes, ma'am.
And can your attorney assist you by video?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand those constitutional rights that I just explained?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. What is the announcement, Mr. Finley?
Yes, Your Honor. We were just wanted to kind of break down what happened with his missed court date.
Okay, all right. I'll go to Ms. Sowery first. Then I was hoping that perhaps this could be resolved today with the plea. Is there any chance that that might take place today? Ms. Sowery or Mr. Finley, have you all discussed the plea?
I didn't receive an offer.
Is there an offer at this time, Ms. Sowery?
Your Honor, we did not put together an offer, but we very well could do that if he's interested in taking a plea today.
Do you think your client is interested in taking a plea? Perhaps we could just resolve the case. With Ms. Sowery, would you and Mr. Finley be able to speak for a moment? We are a little bit early and we do have a little bit of a pause. I don't believe Mr. Finley is assigned to the other case. So if you two would potentially discuss a plea, and then we'll come right back because I would like to resolve this if we can. All right?
Yes, Your Honor. If we could also include Mr. Walker in the.
Mr. Walker might, okay, Mr. Walker, that would hold us at South Annex. But okay, Mr. Walker we'll just be in a pause until Mr. Walker can come out, unless there's somebody that can handle Ms. Namdekin's case. I was hoping to do that while that discussion was taking place. But
they can go without me. I could join them as soon, because it's a signature bound for.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
At all.
All right, long as that's fine. All right. We'll go back to Ms. Namdekin while that breakout is taking place at South Annex. I no longer see the South Annex. Okay, there you are.
She's talking, she's on the phone with Attorney Howard.
Oh, she's not quite ready. All right, we'll be in a very brief pause until she is. I feel warm as well. Very warm up here. It's very warm. All right, we'll all be in a pause. As soon as South Annex was ready, I prefer to go to that one first. And then we'll return to Mr. Stokes. Mr. Stokes, while your attorneys discussing with the state, you can turn your camera off. We'll be in a brief break. All right?
All right. For how long?
I can't promise you how long that will be. Please remain as patient as you can.
Yes, ma'am. All right, but can I ask you a question before you go?
Don't ask me any questions. Let's wait till your attorney is here.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're back, Your Honor.
All right, wonderful. And this is Ms. Namdekin that was previously on the 11 o'clock competency, correct?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Ms. Namdekin, good morning. Your case is 22 CR 00428F, in which you're charged with harassing communications with the offense date of January the 19th of 2022. I want to advise you, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say regarding the facts of the case can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney today, and Mr. Howard is present on this Zoom conference to help you. Can I hold this hearing by video? Is that okay? Can I talk to you by Zoom or on this video screen, Ms. Namdekin?
Yes, you can talk to me.
Thank you. I appreciate that. At this time, Mr. Howard, will you please Mr. Walker, you're back with us. Will you please put the recommendation onto the record for me?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is consenting to a $1,000 SOB through the jail with the conditions of a stay away at 995 Canton Street, located in Roswell, Georgia, and no further contact with the victim, whose name is Chadwick Hayden.
All right. Do you have any objection to that recommendation, Mr. Howard?
No, Judge, and she and I spoke, and she said she is in agreement with those requirements.
All right, at this time, the court accepts the state's recommendation as the bond. Ms. Namdekin will receive a $1,000 signature bond for the jail. She is to have no further contact with Chadwick Hagan and must stay away from that address on Canton Street in Roswell.
Your Honor, I forgot a condition. I'm so sorry. There was also supposed to be a condition that she remains compliant with
all prescribed medication. That was where I was going next. She must remain compliant with all prescribed medication and have no medication or drugs that are not prescribed, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons other than as listed. All right, is there anything further? I see Mr. Howard, you're on the edge of your seat. All right, if there's nothing further from either party, best of luck to you, ma'am. That concludes your case, all right?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right, are we finished with, is there any announcement, Mr. Walker, for?
I need one more second and I should be back. So if the clerk could just hold her announcement on the DV pace.
That's fine. I know we're taking it early, so I thank everyone for their grace. All right.
Right back.
All right. Is there any other, let's see. I'm gonna sound for David Moultrie again. Is there any chance that David Moultrie is now on the screen? Or Gabriel Mendez?
Sorry about that, Mr.
And Your Honor, I reached out to both the attorneys for the 11 o'clock play calendar to see if they could join us, and I'm waiting to hear back.
All right, and I understand that it is scheduled at 11 o'clock and it's only 10:30. So if we can't get it done, we will reconcile the calendars we've completed and come back to these at 11.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. We'll be on hold for that DV case, however.
Ms. Mazick, if you have a question, you have to enable the audio on your Zoom settings so you can talk. But I did send you a message in the chat. I'm not sure if you can see that message in the chat.
I saw Ms. Sowry come on for a moment. Does that mean that there is an announcement?
Yes, Your Honor, if we could wait for Mr. Finling, but I do believe we have come to a resolution on the case.
Okay, we'll wait, Mr. Finley.
Judge, while we're waiting, there was one other person on the competency calendar that we had spoken about yesterday that would needed to see you, Judge. And Deputy Milton has agreed to go and grab her. Can we do a breakout so we can tell you kind of what we would hope, what we're asking the court to do on that one?
Yes.
All right. So
let's do that very quickly, then we'll go back to the DB.
Okay. All right. So we have a quick breakout.
Can I put myself in the breakout? Let's see. No.
I got it, Judge. Judge Williams went into a breakout room, Mr. Finley. Should be right.
Be ready. This is Miss Mallory Reed.
You're on mute, Judge. Judge Williams, you're on mute.
Talking away. Thank you. I was just talking away. No one had any, couldn't hear what I was saying. Good morning, Ms. Reed. I'm
Good
Judge
morning.
Melanie Williams. Your case is 22 CR 00049B, in which you're charged with battery with the offense date of February the 2nd of 2022. I'm gonna advise you of your constitutional rights, okay?
Yeah,
You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and Mr. Howard is here to help you today with this particular proceeding. Can I talk to you by video today, Ms. Reed?
yes, ma'am.
And can Mr. Howard help you by video?
I don't know who Mr. Howard is.
That's your attorney. He's waving. Can
Oh,
he help
okay.
you by video? Yes, you're called here to court today, but in order to for the court to move forward with doing anything resolving your case, there's an interview that we need you to undergo at the Mary Hall Freedom House. Do you understand that, Ms. Reed?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you willing and able to undergo that interview in order for us to move forward with your case?
Are you trying to let me go to there?
I can't do anything until you interview with them.
I
There's a
interview.
Okay, now the court is going to order you that you do that. Are you able to do it today? I believe that, Mr. Howard, is the interview scheduled today?
Judge, they may not be able to schedule it today, but as soon as possible, we would
Okay.
ask.
So Ms. Reed, as soon as they call you, I need you to fully participate in that interview. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I won't be able to do anything about releasing you or deciding anything until you undergo that interview, all right?
Yes.
All right. So for now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna reset your case.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna go to that interview and you're gonna give them all the information that they need so that a decision can be made, all right?
Okay.
Okay, I thank you, Ms. Reed, for coming today.
All
And
right,
Mr.
thank you.
Howard, Mr. Howard, is there anything further?
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, best of luck to you, Ms. Reed. Your case will be reset. Please go to that interview and please answer all their questions, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, take care.
You too.
All right, we're gonna go back to Mr. Finley with the DV case. Is the
Are we
announcement
finished?
that we were, yes, South Annex is free to go. Thank you. Have a great afternoon. All right, Mr. Finley, there's an announcement. Have we been able to resolve this aging case?
Yes, you are. Yeah, yes, Your Honor. Excuse me. We have been able to resolve it. This will be a negotiated plea, Judge.
All right, I'm so glad that you all were able to make a resolution, and I thank both of the parties for taking the time out to speak regarding the case. All right, Ms. Sowery, will you please I do not have the recommendation before me because I did not know we were taking the plea, but I'm hoping you can speak it through very slowly for me so I can try to get it down. What is the state's recommendation?
The state's recommendation is 12 months to serve 3 days, credit for time served 3 days, the balance probated, an FFIB, and no further violent contact with Dominique King.
Okay. What's the relationship between Ms. King and Mr. Stokes?
They are partners and they have 2 children together.
Okay, I'm gonna sound for Ms. King in the event that is Ms. King present on this Zoom conference? I would like the opportunity to be heard. She's not.
She was just on the phone, but she's not on the call.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. Yeah, I did just speak with her, Judge, and she verified that she did.
That's what she would like. All
she did
right.
make contact. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to verify that. Mr. Filling, that was your understanding of the plea?
Yes, Your Honor. That is our understanding of the time served and no further violent contact. And additionally, Judge, we do stipulate to the factual basis, venue and ID.
All right, so Mr. Stokes, you understand what's taking place today. Your attorney spoke with the state and negotiated a plea offer for you. If you take this plea today, you will not have to serve any additional time at Fulton County Jail, but you will have to take a FFIP course. So my question though, Mr. Filling, there are 4 charges here. Do those requirements go for all 4 charges? Are they gonna run concurrent? Does the probation run concurrent? I guess would be my question to Ms. Sowery. That's probably a better person.
Yes, Your Honor, the probation to run concurrent.
Okay. All right. Make sure.
Sorry, and then one more thing, Judge.
Yes.
Yes, Judge Williams, if we also agreed that once he does complete the FFIP, if he his probation could become not reporting.
All right. Does the state object to the not reporting?
No, Your Honor.
All right. I think I've clarified all things. So you understand what's happened today, Mr. Stokes, and you understand that you'll have to take a course, and until you complete that course, you'll have to report to probation. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Once you complete the course, you no longer have to report, and you are to have no further violent contact with Ms. King. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am. So
All right, I'm
how
gonna wait. Let me ask you some questions, and then we'll clarify any points. All right?
all right.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at this time?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with Mr. Finley's representation?
Yes, I am.
Did anyone force or coerce you into taking this plea today?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand that by taking this plea, you're waiving your right to challenge the evidence in a court of law? And
Yes,
to-
ma'am.
And to present any defenses you may have had?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're prepared to waive your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand those requirements of the sentence, that you don't have to go back to the Fulton County Jail, but you do have to take that course. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand you're also gonna have to report to probation.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. As to the charges of battery, family violence, cruelty to children in the second degree, 2 counts, and criminal trespass, how do you plead?
Guilty.
All right, I accept your guilty plea. In light of the fact that he needs to take that FVIP course, I will waive 3 months of the probation fees. And once he's completed, he can go non-reporting. Was there any outstanding questions?
Yes.
Mr. Stokes, very, very limited. The best person to ask is your attorney, but what is your question?
Oh, I was just gonna ask you about the probation. Like, how was I supposed to report? Like in person or over the phone?
Can you, Mr. Finley, will you please provide Mr. Stokes with some guidance outside of this hearing?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. All right, I believe that will conclude Mr. Stokes' case. Please send all paperwork to melissa.grace@fultoncountyga.gov. All right, is there anything further, Ms. Sowry?
Nothing further from the state.
Anything further, Mr. Finley?
Nothing further, Judge. Thank you.
All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Stokes. Make sure you sign all relevant paperwork that your attorney sends to you, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, you're free to go. All right, I believe I saw some participants from the 11 a.m. plea calendar. So we're gonna call that calendar and go ahead and begin, even though we are a little bit early. Are there any outstanding issues from either the state all-purpose or competency calendar before we begin that calendar? All right, first case I'm gonna call is the case of David Moultrie or Moultrie. Are you present on the Zoom conference? All right, hearing none, we'll go to the case of Gabriel Mendez. As Mr. Mendez, I see Gabriel De La Rosa. And Mr. Blevins, do you represent Mr. Mendez?
I do, Your Honor. We're ready to go forward with a negotiated plea.
All right, thank you. Ms. Weidman, you represent the state in this case.
I do. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, before we begin, Mr. Mendez, your case is 22 CR 002248J, in which you're charged with 1 count of reckless driving with an offense date of February the 26th of 2021. I want to make sure that you understand your constitutional rights. You have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say regarding the facts of the case can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney today, and Mr. Blevins is here to represent you. You object to a video hearing today? Or can I conduct this hearing by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Mendez, can I conduct this? Do you have any objection to a video hearing, or do your attorney speaking for you by video?
It will be speaking for me.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Weidman, will you please put the state's recommendation onto the record?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. State's recommendation is 12 months probation, a $1,000 fine, 100 hours of community service for the defendant to take and complete a risk reduction course and to complete any treatment recommended. Your Honor, up to this point, the defendant has already completed the drug and alcohol evaluation, as well as a MAD victim impact panel and 10 hours of community service.
All right. And I'm sorry, Ms. Wyman, what's the total amount of that community service?
The state's recommendation is 100 hours of community service, Your Honor.
$100. All right, perfect. All right, Mr. Blevins, was that your understanding of the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
And do you so stipulate to the factual basis, identity, and venue?
We do, Judge.
All right, Mr. Mendez, I'm gonna ask you some questions to make sure that you're voluntarily taking this plea, all right? Are you satisfied with your attorney's representation?
Yes, ma'am.
Did anyone offer you anything in exchange for taking a plea today?
No, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol that would impair your ability to understand the nature of this plea or this proceeding?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand that by taking this plea, you're waiving your right to challenge the evidence in the court of law or to present any defenses you may have had?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're prepared to waive those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand the requirements of your sentence as just listed by the state?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, as to the charge of reckless driving, how do you plead?
Guilty.
I accept your guilty plea. Is there anything further from either party before we conclude this matter?
Not by the defense, Judge.
Not from the state. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you both. Best of luck to you, Mr. Mendez. Please get all relevant paperwork for my signature to Melissa.Grace as placed in the chat. And you both are free to go if there's nothing further.
All right, thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
All right, I'm now gonna sound for the case of Jamel Chisholm. Is Mr. Chisholm present on this Zoom conference or his attorney?
Your Honor, that case should have been removed from the calendar. We're not proceeding today.
Oh, all right, wonderful. And so the only case we're holding for is the case of David Moultrie?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And question, going back to state all purpose, very briefly, position 10, I had an indication that that case is gonna be null pros by the state. Is that still happening? Mr. Walker, does it, or Ms. Sauer? Maybe Ms. Whiteman knows either. Oh, Mr.
We'll
Segura.
be submitting the paperwork, Your Honor. That is correct.
All right, thank you. Please send that to Ms. Grace as well. All right, because it is only 11:01, we will hold for Mr. Moultrie's case. I see a Sylvia Mazick. Ms. Mazick, whose case are you on the line for? I see you have your hand up. Oh, you're not going to be able to speak until you join the audio for the conference. I think Mr. Jordan explained that to you. Mr. Jordan, was she able to chat to you and explain what she may have needed from the court at this time?
I haven't heard anything back from her, Judge.
Okay, Ms. Mazick, if you would put it, you have to connect to the audio part. Is there a reason that you're here at this particular proceeding today? All right, if you would like to speak with someone, please send a chat to the Fulton State Court, and Mr. Jordan will let me know what you need. Yeah, they are. At the end. Right. All right, while we're waiting, let's go ahead and reconcile the calendar, and Mr. Howard can give us all the announcements for the competency calendar as we reconcile, if Mr. Howard is still present. Yes, so we're gonna go ahead and reconcile the calendar while we wait for the one outstanding case on the plea, the 11 o'clock plea calendar.
The DB calendar.
Yes, can everyone hear Ms. Grace? Go ahead and speak.
The
Smith.
DV calendar was a plea.
No, we can't hear her.
Because I can't hear you.
The DV calendar was a plea.
Are you able to hear Ms. Grace now?
Yes.
All right.
SAP calendar, position number 1 was transferred to Superior Court. Position number 2 was a plea. Position 3 and 4 was released. Position 5 and 6 was a plea. Position 7 was arraigned. Position 8 reset 428 SAP. Position 9 was a plea. Position 10 was non-pros. Position 11 was a plea. Position 12, reset date 426. Position 13 was a plea. Position 14 was a plea. Position 15 was reset. The defendant was released.
Any comments, changes, or corrections before we go to competency?
Can you repeat 7 and 8, please?
7 and 8, Ms. Grace.
Position 8 was reset 428 SAP. Position 7 was arraigned, reset jail jury.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to the competency calendar. Mr. Howard, will you give us your reset dates as we go through that calendar?
Yes, Judge. Position 1, excuse me, reset 5-5. Position 2 and 3, I'm not sure. That's I think Mr. Jordan may have.
Right, that Ms. McLeod was supposed to be present for positions 2 and 3. So those will be reset to not SAP, but the competency calendar next Thursday.
Yes, okay.
428. I'll let Ms. Grace continue.
All right, and then position 4, 428, Judge, the interview was done today. She was accepted, so 428 to get everything nailed down.
Oh, wait, for Ms. Conley, she doesn't need 5-5, you're gonna do 428?
Right, we gotta move it to she's 428.
Okay. And your announcement for position 5?
I will submit an order that we need. In that case, Judge, we won't talk about the specifics, but
okay,
that date will need to be at least 4 to 6 weeks, about 4 weeks out. So let's say.
What dates do we have in May, Melissa? End of May, perhaps, Mr. Howard?
2, 3, 4, like May 12th or May 19th, either one of those.
Is there a calendar that week, Ms. Grace? He said May 12th or the 19th. Is there anything that week?
May the 12th.
There's room on the May the 12th, so it'll be reset to May 12th?
Yes. Position 6, 428.
Okay.
Position 7. Did we 1 week? I think maybe enough, Miss Williams or Miss Burgess. Will 1 week be sufficient? Yes, Judge, let's reset him.
420, you sure that's enough time, Mr. Howard?
Let's do 2 weeks to be safe on him.
Okay, so
Yeah, 2 weeks is fine, Mr. Howard.
okay, so 5-5.
Yes.
All right.
In position 8 was SOB today. So that'll be, I guess, further notice. Position 9 was a plea.
We have Mr. Howard reconciling the calendar. Instead of doing that, no, it's fine. What is, we'll do the positions that we didn't cover. Position 10, what is the announcement and reset there?
I think Ms. Crawford was asking for an additional week on that, so 428.
That's correct.
All right, that'll be enough time? All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
And the only other position then will be 414. What is the announcement for that reset date?
414.
I mean, position 14.
Oh, position 14.
Position 14.
Judge, we can do that same 512 for Mr. Yeah, the 512 calendar. We're going to submit an order for her case as well.
Okay. We did 11. Oh, well, I guess not. We still need to reset her. How much time will we need for position 11? The young lady I spoke with this morning.
Ms. Maine Williams, should we do 1 or 2 weeks for her? For Ms. Reed?
Ms. Reed, 2 weeks, please.
All right.
So that would be 5 as well.
Yes.
All right. Any questions, comments, changes from anyone?
For position number 5, Ms. Conley, do we have her for 5-5 reset?
We said 428. Would you rather prefer 5-5?
Yes, if we can do the release order for 5-4 and just have a reset for 5-5 for her.
So,
okay. Position 4 will be so reset to 5-5.
So Judge, I'll submit an order on that one today for her to be released the day before that. But
all right.
All right. Thank you.
We're going to be in a very brief pause. If you can start working on the paperwork, I'd love to sign as much as I could before I left. Today, I will be leaving around lunchtime, but always available to sign my own orders.
Okay.
All right,
I'll work on that now, Judge.
All right, I'm gonna sound again before we go into a very brief. Oh, Ms. Weidman, yes, and I hope you have a great announcement about this.
I do have an announcement, Your Honor. I sent the link to the attorney earlier this week. Apparently, he's telling me that went to his spam. So he
is not prepared today.
Yes, and so I would just be asking if it would be possible to reset it to the same time next week.
I believe that shouldn't be a problem. Is there any, is that calendar open and wide, Ms. Grace? It shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so we'll reset to the non-jail plea calendar for 28.
Thank you, Your Honor. I apologize for that. May I be excused?
Yes, I believe we're all about to be excused. Unless there's anything outstanding from anyone, I believe we've reconciled the whole calendar. Please send any relevant documents to Ms. Grace. And everyone enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Take care.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you, Judge.
You too.
Ms. Mazik, if you have any